Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Chef Robert Danhi, and I'm here on behalf of CCAP Los Angeles and CCAP as a whole. We're 1 minute early, so I'm going to, hello there. Here we go. People are joining in. Fantastic. Well, welcome, Black Star. It's nice to see you. Okay, here we go. People are joining in. So again, I'm Robert Danhi. Today, CCAP has asked me to come on live on Instagram and show you how to make a French omelet. Now, people are thinking maybe why a French omelet? Well, French omelet is because it's one of the skills that the CCAP students learn in order to gain a base set of skills that they can use in the industry, but also the way that CCAP students actually raise money for themselves and get a career in culinary arts is they do competitions. And one of the recipes that they do are these competitions, as the CCAP students signed on now know about. And the omelet, the French omelet, is one of those dishes that is iconic. That even when I started cooking 35 years ago now, right? Started washing dishes 35 years ago here in Los Angeles at the Chart House, my first job. And but even back then, if you wanted to be a cook somewhere or a chef in a fine dining restaurant, they'd ask you to cook an omelet. Now, it seems super simple, and it is. But simple means all the little nuances will show up if there's any problems. Morning. Thanks for joining, everyone. We're getting people piling on now, so it's nice to see. So as I was saying, Robert Danhi, CCAP, talking about the omelets and how that's what's used for the competition. And so, my relationship with CCAP, I'll just start with that briefly. I'm a chef based here in Los Angeles. I also have a home in Malaysia, but based on the current situation, I'm not traveling to Malaysia anytime soon, it seems. So based here in LA, one of the honors of my life is volunteering, working with CCAP and other organizations around the world to be a good global citizen. Right? A lot of people have helped me in my career. And so this is one of the things that I can do to make us more of the United States of America and more of the United Countries of the world, right? We all need to work together. And in the US, we've got a lot of people have been struggling, are struggling. And one way to get out of that is to have a career path. And culinary arts is one of them. So French omelet is the skill here today. Now, I've got a few pieces of paper here. If I put them here, they're backwards, as you know. But I wanted to go over briefly what is graded. Like when CCAP students, when you're learning, because that's who I'm talking to specifically here today, but everyone is welcome. When you're learning about how to make an omelet, there are judging criteria, right? It's the presentation. For instance, we're making a French omelet today. So a rolled French omelet. And to do a rolled French omelet, that means soft, small, creamy curds, no color on the outside. It's almost like a cigar shape, and I'm going to show you this live. I'm going to make a couple of them. But French omelet. Now remember, there's fantastic omelets around the world. Thai omelets, Japanese tamago omelets, there's all sorts. But today, we're going to be focusing on the French omelet. And so what is a French omelet and how is it made? So we have more people joining, so I think soon we'll start getting into actually making the omelet. Now, the CCAP team, thank you for inviting me. I'm honored. And asked me to talk a little bit about how I got here as part of today, because I think it's important for those of you getting in the business or already in it. I've had a charmed career, should I say. I've worked hard, but I've been given lots of opportunities and have been prepared to take advantage of them. And so starting in restaurants for 10 years as a chef, right? Working as a dishwasher, prep cook, line cook, executive chef, working my way up sous chef first. And then I got into teaching. I used to teach here in Los Angeles, a school called the Southern California School of Culinary Arts. And then I went to go teach back at my alma mater at the Culinary Institute of America. And when I went to go teach at the CIA, interesting part of that is I was asked to teach breakfast cookery. And that's where I honed my skills on what I'm showing you today on how to make an omelet, was making omelets for the CIA students every day, Monday through Friday. Class started at 2 a.m. By 4 a.m., I'm demoing omelets for the students. So after that, I got into research and development, here in Los Angeles, and now I'll tell you more as we go on. But I want to get into making this omelet. And for those of you that are signed on today, I'm sure you're saying, hey, what's the technique? How do we get into it? And I'm going to show you that. So what is the mise en place, right? What is the ingredients that you need? Well, first of all, of course, it's huevos, right? Eggs. We need a lot of eggs. Usually an omelet is 2 to 3 eggs. 3 is what you want to go with. For CCAP, please, trust me. You want to go with a 6 to 8 inch pan. I'm going to use a non-stick pan. This is just a basic, didn't want to, just whatever pan we have at the house. Pretty simple. My test kitchen here is at my home. And so we have eggs, 2 to 3 of them. We have a 6 to 8 inch omelet pan, a non-stick pan for sure, or a well-seasoned black iron pan like the French ones. That will work. Also, we need some salt, right? I'm going to use a kosher salt, kind of the gold standard for chefs, and pepper, white pepper. If you're putting pepper in your omelet, do not use black pepper for a French omelet. You see all the black specks. So we want to use this white pepper, and I can grind it in there. So I've got my eggs. I have 3 fresh eggs here. But do note, you can take a flat of eggs, beat them all, and have them ready as such. You'd want to keep them cold, right, for food safety concerns. But for today, what we'll do is we're going to take the 3 eggs here. I'll put a pinch of salt. I squeeze it as I drop it because it grinds it so it'll dissolve better. I'll add a little bit of this fresh ground white pepper. And that's that. Now to beat this, I will use a whisk. And there's a lot of debate about, do you add water? Do you add milk? How much do you beat them? Do you make them frothy? There's a lot of right ways. Everyone has their own way of how they want to make an omelet and what you want to start with. But eggs are a requirement. And a little bit of water is fine. A little bit of milk is fine. But I'm just going to go old school with that. Now, I do want to beat it. This is important. You don't necessarily need to beat a lot of air in it and to get it fluffy. But what you do need to do is make sure that when you pull this up, there isn't that mucilaginous, thicky, I think that's the word, egg whites on it. So make sure you beat it until it's smooth and it runs off in one homogeneous mixture. The reason you do that, right, is to make sure that it's one color. So you can have a beautiful golden omelet as opposed to one that has white specks in it. So for CCAP students, take your 3 eggs, beat them well till they're completely smooth. You can see how that comes off. I have that ready. I have my salt and pepper inside there. And then here is some clarified butter. Now, why clarified butter? Well, clarified butter because we've cooked it or we've melted it and separated it to remove the about 18% of water and milk solids, etc. So we wanted to get all that out. So when you add it to your hot pan, it doesn't brown too much. And so we have clarified butter here, also known as ghee, but ghee is usually clarified butter that's been heated until it's clarified as opposed to just melted and separated. Regardless, clarified butter, you could use oil, but why would you? Butter has so much flavor. So for the what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make at least 2 omelets. I'll make as many as you need. I can stay on. I've got plenty of eggs. But what I have found in demonstrating this for CCAP students or at the CIA or wherever is that my first one I will make for you just nonstop. It's going to take like a minute. It's really quick to make an omelet. Then I'm going to go really slow and take you through step by step. And then I'll give you some other tips and you can ask questions. So if you have any questions, throw them up here. I'll address them as we go, or I will answer them as we, at the end, we can circle back. So thank you for joining us. I see we still have some people joining. So I'd say let's make our first omelet since we're going to make a few. This is going to go 30, 45 minutes, could be sooner. Oh, I see hearts flying. Everyone's excited. So how am I going to make this? Well, I've got a pretty extensive test kitchen here, but what I wanted to do is show you how to make it really simply. And meaning it doesn't get much simpler. I'm going to turn this down here. Okay, boom, 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 right there. I'm using a really simple $20 butane-driven burner. That's it. Showing you can do this anywhere. You can use gas, you can use electric, but today I'm going to use this. Now I realize you can't see me anymore, so I'm gonna leave it down here so you can see closely as I make this omelet. I'm gonna go really quickly through this, just make the omelet. I'm not gonna narrate a ton, I might tell you a few tips. Then what we'll do is we'll come back and I'll make it step by step really slowly and tell you what I'm doing, right? But before we do that, actually, let me just make it. Then I'll lead you step by step, okay? So, I've got my burner ready. Heat source, how hot? You're gonna go like medium high. You want this pretty high. That goes down. I've got my eggs ready, remember? And inside, you're gonna put 1 to 2 teaspoons of butter. Don't be too shy. I mean, it is an omelet after all. So then you're gonna coat it. Now, notice how thick it is when I roll that around. How do I know it's hot enough? That's probably one of the most important questions, or a question that people ask all the time. Let me zoom in a bit. There we go. How do you know it's ready? Well, a couple things you're going to see. I'm just adjusting this for you. You can see the oil starting to shimmer and move. See that right there? It's moving and it's kind of coming together. When it comes together, that means it's hot. Another thing, some people will take a little bit of egg and splash it in there to see if it's hot. It's going to shimmer. I see it moving. It's going to congregate in different areas. And then if I want to test it, I can splash that in there. So no more ado. Let's just do it. And if it doesn't come out perfect, that's okay. This is real live Instagram TV. Okay, get it hot, see it congregate, see it shimmer. I can test it. I have my rubber spatula, by the way. Make sure I've got a rubber spatula ready. That is heat proof, really important, right? So at this page, a little bit hotter. I want it to bubble up quicker. So I'm gonna let this go a little bit more. Okay, it's starting to move, starting to shimmer. Check it one more time. Oh yeah, okay. You can hear it. Then I'm going to go round and round, soft, small, creamy curds, soft, small, creamy curds, soft, small, creamy curds. Go around the edges, scrape it down, shake, 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 scrape it down. When it starts getting to this stage, almost there, stop. Okay, it's creamy. Now I'm gonna lower the heat, clean up the edges. Now notice I just told you I wouldn't tell you all about it. Let me just make the omelet. Spread it out. Roll this as such. Then lift as such. Hang it over the edge. Boom. Catch. Ha-ha. Okay. So there is the omelet. No color, smooth. Some people will reshape this a little bit by taking a clean linen cloth and do that if you want it to be even more, but you want to make sure it's clean, of course. So now that is a French omelet. So let's talk about this for a second, and let me say what this is and why it looks like that. Thanks for joining, everyone. So what makes that the proper French omelet? I don't want that little seam ideally, but come on, it's close enough. You can see smooth all the way around. And is it cooked properly? Inside should be, look at that. Okay, so inside it's still got some creaminess to it, right? It's soft. So you got creamy scrambled eggs enveloped inside a smooth egg on the outside there, right? That white pepper is kind of dark white pepper. I can see the flakes, but I promise it's white pepper. So that is a rolled French omelet, just as such. Let me make another one. I'm going to put this aside. There we go. Okay, so for my pan, I could wash it, frankly. I can just wipe it out. That's what's more common. You're not running to the sink every time when you're cooking eggs. Okay, folks. So we have a few more people here. Thanks for joining, everyone. Robert Danhi volunteering for CCAT to show the students how to make the rolled omelet for competition, or showing you how to make an omelet for home for something delicious. So I showed you the first omelet beginning to end, and now I'm going to explain what I'm doing. But let me first, with CCAT, There's a lot of great resources for CCAP students, and there's some handouts of the basic recipes. And so for the recipes, one thing to, let me just read off quickly how they say to make it, right? In a bowl, beat the eggs with a whisk or fork, right? If you incorporate some arrow beef fluffer, add pepper and salt, heat a nonstick pan, we've got that, add the clarified butter, add the egg mixture, shake, shake, shake. Pretty much what I just said. So let me show you. First thing, we're gonna take another batch of 3 eggs here, right? Let's put a little bit of salt. Again, let's put a touch of pepper and take our eggs. Okay, so these are large eggs. Now, one thing to note that most people don't realize, if you go to the store, you can get small, medium, large, extra large eggs. Between each one of those sizes, it's a 1/4 ounce difference. A 1/4 ounce, that's a lot. So if you're doing a recipe and it calls for 12 large eggs, right, but you happen to use medium eggs, 12 times 4, that's 3 ounces difference of eggs for that recipe. So make sure you use the right eggs. Okay, so you beat that till it's smooth. Again, you want to make sure the eggs don't have any egg white bits in it. Get rid of that. Our mise en place is our pan that's going to be hot. Then we're going to have the butter, clarified butter, and the eggs, and we're ready. So now I'm going to make one a little bit slower and explain what's happening step by step. Let me get my spatula cleaned here. Okay, again, heat-proof spatula, really, really important. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can put them up here. There we go, we're back, sorry. For the, make sure you use a heat-proof spatula. So let me turn this on. We got our burner. I'm gonna leave it here so you can see me a little bit. I'll put it down here. We're gonna put our 1 to 2 teaspoons of butter. Coat the pan. Remember, soft, small, creamy curds. Soft, small, creamy curds, just like a scrambled egg, is where you want to start. We've got this heating up. How do I know it's hot? Oils, you can see the fat is starting to move together, the butter. It's starting to shimmer. I want it to be hot. Let it go, let it go. It takes about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, or something like that. I can check it by putting a little egg. See how it bubbled up instantly? Like really quick, and it's set. A little low is okay. Too hot might be an issue. So in that goes. I can hear the eggs. Then what I'm going to do, it's a little bit cold in the last one, is shake, shake, shake. I'm moving the pan and I'm moving. Notice I'm moving the pan and I'm moving the spatula. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Go around, stir it. Okay, right when we're to scrambled eggs like this, stop, and spread it. It's off the high heat. So at this point, you can see, well, basically we've got a plate of little round discs of scrambled eggs, and we want to spread it out. Okay, so you can see, you got it all the way clean on the edges. 3 eggs give you a nice thick one. Then it goes back on the heat so it releases itself. Otherwise, it can stick, but you don't want it to brown. Notice how I turned it and I put my hand like this. So you're gonna put it on like a 30 degrees. So I change it, I change my position from here cooking to here and then lift up. Then what I'm gonna do, not getting it too hot, over the heat, I come under here with the back of the spatula and come under here and roll. Notice how I tucked it there. Notice how I'm rolling it over. Now, watch how that slides down. And if you need to, what some people do is they tap, look at the bottom, watch what's happening. See how it's going up, up? Ooh, that's perfect. How it's over the edge like that. Oh, I couldn't be happier. So take that, then grab your plate, and then you catch the edge right on the plate without trying to hit the plate with the dirty pan. So over, and then I roll, bunk, ta-da, and then I have my omelet. So, if you go too slow, you can get some color on it. So that was a really slow omelet, but you get it. It's an omelet. There's really not that much to it. So I'm gonna do it again, one more time. Let me get that away. And this time I'll go a little bit quicker. So you saw the first time was beginning to end, right? Didn't stop. That one I went a little bit slow. This time I'm gonna do one more time, just right through it quick. So Do you have any questions? I don't see any questions. I'm no expert in Instagram Live here, but nope, no questions yet. So if you have any questions, throw them up on here and I can answer them. Otherwise, I'd say let's make another omelet. So let me take the eggs, right? So cracking eggs, a lot of times people ask about what's the best way to crack an egg. Now, side note, folks, full disclosure. As a consultant to the food and beverage industry, I do a lot of things. I do research and development, sales and marketing, but one of my main primary favorite clients in the world is the American Egg Board. No joke. There's such a thing. And so today I'm volunteering. This is me, but see, I even have the incredible edible egg mask, but I'm at home, so I really don't need to wear this, although it's a super cool mask. The incredible egg is one of the most important ingredients on the planet. So I'm happy to consult with them, but today I'm just volunteering to show you how to make eggs. But my point is, I know a lot about eggs because I've cooked a lot of them. So when you're taking egg, when you're cracking it, if you crack it on the edge here, you may crack the inside of the yolk. Not a big deal for this. But what if you don't want it? Crack the yolk, using it for something else. What I'll do is I'll crack it on a flat surface, right? And then I can take this and lift up and open, and out it comes, right, with one hand. So this is kind of like a lever up like that. So I'll get rid of that. Or you can do old school. You can take it and just crack it with 2 fingers as such, or 2 parts of your hand, but or right on the edge. But regardless, ooh, look how beautiful that cracked. The simple pleasures of life, a cracked egg. So 1, 2, 3. Let's put a little bit of our salt inside. Let's add our pepper. You can see how, one thing I found when I'm volunteering with the students at CCAP is everyone's really scared. And not everyone, but there's trepidation in making your omelet. I'm kind of saying there never is for me, or there didn't used to be, but especially when you're doing it live on Instagram. But my point is, if you're scared and have trepidation and go really slow with this, it's probably going to be worse. You want to just go for it. It's eggs after all. The chicken gives us one pretty much every day, so there's plenty more out there for you. Don't worry about using the eggs. And what you can do if you have a bunch of omelets, I know this sounds crazy, that you're practicing them, well then make an egg salad with them, make something else with them. That's okay. So 3 eggs, beaten, smooth. Remember, really important, make sure it's smooth, you don't have any egg white pieces. We have our spatula. Okay, let's move this out of the way. This isn't kind of going casual here. Let's make sure our pan is clean. We've got our cassette burner here, as they're called often. I'm going to zoom in for this one so you can see it happen really quick. And I'm just going to go beginning to end, okay? So don't leave. Let's check this out. So down we go. Let's zoom in. There we are. And yeah, okay, so you can see that. So let's turn this on. Medium-high heat. 1 to 2 teaspoons of clarified butter. I would go on the 2 side if I was you, especially when you're practicing, it's much easier. As that's heating up, I'm making sure my spatula is ready. I go around the edges, right? Okay, so now you can see how when it's heating up, see how the fat's moving? And then it starts shimmering. See, it's moving, it's shimmering, it's getting close to ready. I have my plate ready. How do I know when it's ready? Shimmer, move, and test it with an egg. So I can take a little bit of this egg mixture. Oop, see how that bubbled up? In it goes, I hear it. Notice how I'm going around the outside of the pan. Scraping down occasionally. Soft, small, creamy curds, soft, small, creamy curds. I'm going around the outside and in the middle, all around the pan, really important. When I get to scrambled eggs, almost, okay. And then I stop and spread it out. Oh, it's too hot there. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Now I've got the scrambled eggs. I'm going to flatten that. Clean up the edges. It's off the heat, right? So here, you can see how the edges are clean. I've got soft, small, creamy curds in the middle. I lower the heat. Let's go back to here. Go low, back on top. Let's fix that. There you go. Back on top. At this point, once it gets heated, I'm going to move the pan to this side and then lift up like this. Move it away from the handle. Roll, roll, tuck that under there, roll. Notice how this is coming down. You could even do this if you need to. Push it, push it. Notice how it's on the edge. Now let me tap that so you can see it. There we go. Right, you see how you've brought it to the edge, or I brought it to the edge. Then this comes here. Grab that here and roll the pan, not the plate, and whoop. Ooh, okay. Check that out. So put that down. Again, if you don't want it to be more of a crescent shape, you want it to be more of a cigar shape, you take a clean linen cloth and push this like this. Kind of old school technique, but yum. And so here, now you can see the smooth omelet, no color on it. And let's check if the doneness is okay. I'll take my knife, cut this. Aha. So look inside there. You see how, sorry, I'm going to pull this apart, but how there's still creamy, right? Creamy scrambled eggs inside. Okay, so let's talk. Okay, so what questions do you maybe have? Let's zoom out a bit, a little bit too close. There we go, folks. So we've got our French omelet. We have a chef here that's made a few of them that's more than welcome to answer any questions you have. But that's basically it. Beat the eggs, season with salt and pepper. Heat your pan, medium-high heat. Add your fat, 1 to 2 teaspoons of clarified butter, right? Then after that gets hot, then you add your beaten eggs and you scramble like, right? As you're shaking the pan, this is a really important part, folks. I can't stress this enough, that as I'm going like this. I'm moving my way around the edge of the pan, in the middle, around the edge of the pan, systematically, as I'm shaking the pan back and forth. I know it sounds crazy, so I'm on here, and I'm going back and forth, and I'm scrambling, and I'm scrambling, and I'm scrambling, and I'm scrambling. Once I get one homogeneous, creamy, beautiful, soft, small, creamy curd eggs, then I stop. I spread it out as you saw, and then notice how I turn, lift, tilt, pull, tilt. And I guess that made sense. Okay, so, I see there's some comment or question. Let's see what it is. How do you make clarified butter? Great question. Okay, that's just now. So clarified butter, there's 2 main ways to make clarified butter. You always start, there's no always in culinary arts, but usually you start with unsalted butter. Then you take that unsalted butter, a pound to 2, 100 pounds, really doesn't matter, but you need a little bit, a fair amount to work with. You cut it into pieces and you put it in a pot or whole pounds of butter and you melt it. So if you melt it really slow, what's going to happen is you're going to have 3 parts of the butter that's melted. At the bottom, once it's settled, you'll have about 18% water, which is common inside butter. That's how it is. Then you'll have on top of that another 80% or so of the fat, and that is pure butter fat. And then you'll sometimes have this kind of crackly top to it, which is they call impurities, milk solids, it's the lactose and these other constituent parts of butter. So you have a few options. You can refrigerate it, and it will solidify on top, and the liquid will stay in the bottom. You pop that out, you drain it off, you've got clarified butter. That's option 1. Option 2 is you take that butter that you've melted, and then you actually decant it, meaning you pour off or ladle off the top part of the fat. That's option 2. Option 3, which is more efficient, and but gives it a little bit more flavor, a little roasty note, which I think is appropriate, is you continue to cook it. So you put the butter in the pan, whole pounds, pieces, doesn't really matter, melt it down, and then cook it over medium-low heat. And what's going to happen is it's going to start to bubble. Well, what happens when water bubbles? It evaporates. So that 18% water is going to evaporate through the fat at the top, out into the beautiful environment, and make your kitchen or house smell like butter. Then what's going to happen, I talked about that 2% milk solids. Those stick to the bottom, right? Because you've got lactose, you've got the sugar in there. And what happens with that, in the casein, the protein, is it starts to stick. So you can cook it till it's just stuck, water's evaporated, and strain it to get out any particulates. Or you keep cooking it, until it browns a little bit, all the water's evaporated, and again, you strain it. And that is clarified butter, but if it's browned a little bit, depending on the cook you talk to, then it would be considered ghee. Ghee is the Indian name for it, or from India, what they call clarified butter. And the great thing about when you clarify butter is it stabilizes it so it doesn't brown in the pan, and it gives it a little bit more flavor. And that's kind of that. So that's the answer to your clarified butter, probably more than you needed to know. A couple other things that I wanted to show you I think are important if you want to learn how to make an omelet. I mentioned that I do consulting with the American Egg Board, and one thing that the American Egg Board launched this year, which I was really happy to be part of, was a course called Egg Pro, hosted by Ruby, the online cooking course. And so I know this is backwards, but there is Egg Pro. It's at ruby.com/Egg Pro. And there's a curriculum that's online, and if you sign up this year, it's entirely free for lifetime. So sign up this year, really important. And you've got two courses. You've got a foundations course and a functionality course. Now check this out, chefs. Those of you that want to get certified, the course, if you take the foundations, you get 25 ACF education credits to get certified as certified cook, certified working chef, executive chef, even master chef. You need these certification points. And if you take the functionality course, which teaches you all about the functionality, because think about it. Eggs are the most functional ingredient on the planet next to water. And what I mean by that is functional. In a kitchen, when you're cooking, some things have a purpose. Eggs bind, eggs aerate, eggs foam, eggs emulsify, eggs, I can go on, coat, glaze, color, flavor, enrich, add protein. They're eggs. So the course has a whole thing about functionality. And but what you can also do when you sign on to it is there's an entire lesson on how to make a French omelet here. The folks at CCAP, the video for the students, and it's a 3-minute and 9-second video on how to make a French omelet step by step. So if you go today to ruby.com, ROUXBE, get it, ruby.com//egg pro, sign on to the course. There's no course, no cost. You can take, learn about eggs of all sorts. Yours truly did a lot of the videos for it, so if it's not right, you can let me know. Actually, there's also a cool thing in there, in that course. One thing I found for production at colleges, universities, and other, I guess we're not really doing many eggs cooked to order anymore. It's an interesting part about this pandemic. But when you need to do a lot of them, you can make an egg mixture, put them in a sheet pan, and then steam them or bake them in like a combi oven, like this here. Steam them, take them out, and then you have a sheet of eggs that you can cut into various shapes, make sandwiches, make omelets, and things like that. That's in the course too, as well as a Malaysian omelet, a Thai omelet, and all this yummy stuff. So, it's been 30 minutes. I've shown you how to make a French omelet 3 times. I think that's probably enough. If someone really wants another one, put it in the Q&A here, and I'd be glad to make one more for you. Otherwise, I'd like to wrap up with just a couple things that I think are relevant to the students at CCAP and my work with CCAP, and how I've been fortunate enough to be here today in my home in Los Angeles, cooking you eggs, right? And a lot of that comes from starting off as a dishwasher, working my way up. And the thing about this business, it's competency based. So I don't care if you're 16 years old, you're 20 years old, you're 40, 50, 60. The thing about culinary arts, it's based on what you can do, right? That's a huge part of it. And it's actually the cooking skills that will get you through the first step. However, one thing that I find chefs, I've gotten much better in the last years, but I always try to coach my students, is your interpersonal communication skills are critical. The way in which you communicate, the vocabulary, the intonation, the articulation of what you're trying to put across is as important in the later part of your career as your cooking skills. So make sure that you focus on those interpersonal communication skills, those soft skills. Cooking is a given. If you can't cook, you just shouldn't be in the kitchen. Well, we'll teach you in the kitchen, but as a professional, that is a minimum barrier of entry. After that are the soft skills, which are going to help you grow and have all the different opportunities that, like I've been fortunate enough myself to travel the world, teach for folks like you, and get invited to be Instagram Live CCAP Los Angeles guest and show you the wonderful world of eggs. Oh, I've got one thing I wanted to show you, a special type of egg. Hold on a second. Okay, so what if you want to make an egg that fits perfectly inside a, this is about omelets, but also hard-boiled eggs are pretty amazing. Now, has anyone seen these square eggs? Check it out. Right? I mean, not round, but square eggs. Check it out. Ever tried these? Now the square eggs, you know where to get them? I mean, what would an omelet look like if you made it with a square egg? Well, in all honesty, how do you get a square egg? A square egg machine. I think this was from the 50s. Just had to end with a little bit of comedy and levity. So you hard boil an egg, and then you put it, believe it or not, folks, just for the fun of it, you put it inside here, and the functional egg takes on that form to be a beautiful die. So no, there's no square eggs. There's only round ones or egg-shaped ones. That is Robert Danhi with my way of how to make omelets. I'm honored to be here today, and thank you for inviting me. And I really look forward to when I can be back in the kitchen with the CCAP students, making omelets in person. And if you need anything, need any advice, reach out to me, folks. At Chef Danhi, I think, is my Instagram. You can find me online, and I'd be glad to help out and guide any students that need some guidance. So thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, and reach out. If you have any questions, robert@chefdanhi.com, or look at the website, chefdanhi.com, pretty straightforward, and I'd love to help. So everyone, you take care. I'm going to go, and I will see you another time. The square egg shaper. Oh, someone had one. Also, yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? Have a good day, everyone. Very nice to see you. Be well.